Hi there, I'm your host June Mack, and you're listening to the Little Psychic Podcast, the podcast with easy to understand, fun and down-to-earth spiritual learning which awakens in you the infinite intuitive power we all hold within. Little Psychic, I hope to ignite, nurture and drive your own psychic expansion. Are you ready?
Hey guys, in today's episode, I'm super excited to talk about why your intuitive gifts are absolutely one of a kind and are so unique and special to you. I am hoping to stop the FOMO, stop you comparing yourself to other intuitives, other psychics, which in turn is actually possibly blocking your own intuitive abilities from coming out in the way that they are supposed to. So in this episode, I'm talking about why psychic comparison can actually block your own intuitive growth, how your life experiences, belief system, and the healing that you're willing to do or not do can actually shape your psychic abilities, and how important it is to find your own unique way of doing things. And to say thank you for listening to this episode, in the show notes you will find the linky to the Ultimate Guide to Becoming a Confident and Skilled Psychic Medium free masterclass with me. Hope you enjoy this episode. Hello and welcome to the Little Psychic Podcast. I am so excited to have you here today. I literally felt like just a little nudge this morning. I wasn't even fully planning to record a podcast episode, but I just have been feeling called for the past couple of weeks to really talk about psychic ability or psychic gifts or intuitive gifts and how it is that they present or manifest in each individual person. So something that I've been coming across a lot with my clients, with people who aren't from this space, is that they have like psychic ability FOMO, which is literally where they are comparing themselves or comparing how it is that they receive intuitive information to other people, and incoherently and not actually realizing, shutting down their own unique abilities and the way that their own psychic gifts or intuitive gifts manifest or work for themselves is because they're too busy thinking like, oh, I could never do that. I don't see things the way that person sees things, or I don't hear the way that person says that they hear stuff. So I'm not actually psychic, or I'm not intuitive, or I'm not as good as them, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure you've said it to yourself before, because honestly, I also have been there. I still have been there, like I watch intuitives, mediums read, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, you feel you have that. I could never do that. How come they can get such crystal clear information around this particular thing, and that doesn't happen for me? But I'm here to tell you to stop it. I'm here to tell myself to stop it, because from my understanding, how it actually works is that each person's psychic abilities or intuitive abilities are just as unique as you are unique. So we have all, come to the realization in modern day times that we're all different, and that is actually incredibly beautiful and amazing about us. So why would our psychic abilities or intuitive abilities or mediumship abilities be the same? They're not. From working with multiple hundreds of different people now, I would say, in terms of seeing how different people's psychic skills come out, once they learn how to get a hold of them and develop them further. This is what I'm for, people. This is what I do. This is my passion area. This is what I love doing. I have never come across two people who receive information, who relay information, who get it all in the same way. It's all going to be so super different. And, as I'm saying this, you're probably thinking like, oh, yeah, like, of course it's going to be different. But a lot of people don't think about that until it's actually pointed out. And I'm just finding so many people right now are coming up to me, facing this problem. So I thought I have to talk about it. I have to quickly explain. So just as an example of how it might work and how it's different for each person. So for me, for example, I'm a very visual person. I learn better when I see things. I am more organized when it's in front of me. I literally did a live in the Little Psychic School, which is my community for light workers and for spiritual business owners. And I was talking about how I organize myself, and how I organize myself when I was, really thinking about it. I'm very, very organized, but it's very visual. I have a huge whiteboard. I have to see it all in front of me, and I move it all into calendars, and I action it out monthly, weekly, 6 monthly. But I have to see it. Otherwise I get overwhelmed. It's got to be all in front of me right here, right now. I'm literally looking at it right now to the right of me, because I'm just a visual person. I don't love still have some stuff on my phone. I have some stuff on my computer, but I don't love having it there all the time because I'm not always in front of the computer. I like to just go, oh, I need to look at something. Don't want to have to log into an app or log into a computer program to have access to it. I want to be able to see it. So for me, the way my abilities come out is I am very clairvoyant. I see a lot. I have a lot of visuals. The way spirit explain things to me, the way they show things to me, I get a lot of visual. And there are a lot of you that aren't so much visual people. There are a lot of, people who feel deeply, that just have a strong knowing. There are some people that love to hear it, that they actually receive their information or psychic information from spirit via, hearing things. So it's not going to be the same. And so many people, actually, I'm going to say majority of people that I work with, probably about 85% of my clients all want to have clairvoyance, which is the psychic sense of seeing. They all want to see, which is, wonderful. But it doesn't mean that if you're naturally a knowing person and just have this deep innate knowing, that your abilities are that my abilities are any better than yours, if that makes sense. People think, oh, because you can see it makes it easier. But I have had the best, most amazing readings in my life, which are people who mainly work from their knowing or mainly work from their hearing and actually don't get much visual. But that's something I do work with people on, is how to enhance certain clair senses and how to bring them about. You can actually improve that for yourself. So I think I've spoken about this before on the podcast, just like any other skill that you can learn. And if you practice and consciously take effort to practice that particular skill, you're going to get better at it. So I do actually have a lot of clients that start out only clairaudience, so just hearing things or just knowing things and just feeling things, and actually they think that they have no clairvoyance. And then by the time they've finished a few sessions with me, they have clairvoyance, because I know how to bring that, to your awareness, and to bring that awareness to your spirit team to help you bring your clairvoyance out, and what exercises to do so that you can develop that further. But that doesn't mean that someone who has clairvoyance is any better than someone who, is not naturally there. It's actually my favorite thing to see how people's individual psychic or mediumship abilities come out or present for them, because it's so interesting for me. And it just shows that, how much I am really on the right path and what it is that I'm doing, because it actually really excites me to work with people and see how their intuitive abilities come out, once they learn how to develop them. For me, I'm so sick. It's so exciting to me. And just an example of how everyone's different. And there are people that, they have abilities that doesn't mean that. So people have a tendency to people who they're learning from to put them on some type of pedestal. And it doesn't mean that this person is any better than you whatsoever. We are all the same. We all have our own individual things that we are here to do. We're all on the same wavelength, right? And I 100% have worked with so many students that have certain areas that can perform, for me, and I shouldn't be comparing, but way better than what I can do, because they're here to do different things than what I'm here to do. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is that your abilities are going to manifest in a way that aligns with your purpose, with your soul purpose, and what it is that you are here to do. Whenever I read people, I have a tendency to be able to, one, see what it is that their strengths are and help them remember what it is that they are good at, because we're so good at talking ourselves down, because I do believe that naturally that's something that I'm good at. I'm here to help people reconnect with their soul purpose and what it is that they're passionate about, and remember what it is that they signed the contracts to come here to do. I also think like as a natural teacher, I can see ways that will reach this person and the individual ways that they learn. I have an intuitive knack of picking that up. It's like, okay, so this teacher or this particular psychic mentor didn't work for you because they weren't meeting you where you're at. So I like to meet you where you're at and how it is that you learn and what it is that you resonate with. And I have an innate intuitive ability to naturally be able to do that because I believe that one of my soul gifts that I came here with is teaching, is to be able to teach. So that's why when I am tapping into somebody else, I naturally have the ability to do that. So for other people, for example, so I've worked with like the coolest people. So just as an example, I have one, and I do believe, without giving away names, that she is meant to be, I don't know if you guys have heard of what a death doula is. If you haven't, a death doula is someone that actually helps people pass over and, you know, tells them who's waiting for them. So they are essentially a medium, and they say, look, it's okay. This is what's going to happen when you pass over. And they comfort the family and they explain to them what's happening metaphysically speaking. And then they also say, your husband is on the other side. He's waiting for you. And he's going to be greeting you, you know, when it is that you passed over. So you don't need to be afraid. And there is someone that I work with who I actually feel that something along those lines is very much in her soul purpose and what it is that she came here to do. And just figuratively speaking, one of her abilities, which is insane, she has the ability to smell death. So that sounds completely and utterly morbid, right? But when you think about it in context of what I believe she's here to do, it's actually, you know, makes sense that she can pick this up in other people when they are close to or getting to that point, because she can use that when she's helping someone pass over and knows that they're getting close, metaphysically speaking, to that transition of transitioning to the other side. So she literally, before she's realized like this is part of her soul plan of what it is that she was here to do to help people in this way, is she would be going in the news agency and actually just pick that up and smell it on someone else and know that this person is terminally ill or they don't have too much longer. So that's just one example of how people's individual psychic abilities or intuitive abilities can take shape. So there's somebody else that I worked with too who she was in one of my psychic circles. She's done one-on-one mentoring with me. She was also a member of the Little Psychic School. And I picked up that she was a very good remote viewer. So a remote viewer is someone that can literally, and so many people can actually do this, they just don't know how to. And there is actually a class on this in the Little Psychic School, so ready to go. If you're not a member, there is a class on how to do it. But remote viewing is where you can, say, for example, you can use it as a medium or a psychic. So you could say to the passed over spirit, show me your lounge room, like that, so that my sitter or who I'm reading for right now knows that it's you. And they will come up with the uncanny, like littlest details of this passed over grandma's, you know, lounge room and talk you through how it's set up. You know, the couch was on the left side. There was a fire, an open place fire on the right side. There was a rug that was red. Or remote viewer for psychic work is they can literally like hover above your house and see, you know, how it's set out. And when we actually did this in the Little Psychic School, the exercise, so many of them could do it who had never tried it before. They just didn't know how. And they were telling me the lounge room that I was sitting in, down to like the details, down to like the photos that I had on the wall and where they were and where the main windows were and, you know, what color curtains I had. It was just insane. But I had this particular girl who I was working with, and she explained my lounge room down to the color of what throw I currently had on the couch, what color cushions I had, what color the couch was, what type of rug. And I was like, how is your detail, you know, so defined? And she said, you know, this is so interesting because I've been doing this my whole life. When I would talk to people, I would instantly see inside their house, and I just thought everyone did this. I just thought it was like, you know, something that happened to people, which obviously it's not, because I'm like, I can't tap into your lounge room and tell you what color throw you've got on your couch right now. And when I started to get to know her a little bit, I actually found out she's an interior designer. So something that she does for a living and something that she loves to do is take note of the visuals of how your interior is set up, because she knows all the details. She, as a person, will pick up what coffee, what are they called? The coffee table that you've got, and what book you've got on the coffee table, and how you've set up the candles around it. So this is what she does, is she takes in those details. So it makes sense that as an intuitive or as a psychic, when she taps in, that is something that naturally, comes forward from her. So for me, names, so picking up names of passed over people, other people, it's hit and miss. Sometimes I'll hear a name like Nick. Who's Nick? I'll be like, who's Nick? Oh, that's my husband, And then other times I'm like, who's Gemma? And they'll be like, I don't know. I don't know a Gemma. So it works sometimes for me. Sometimes I don't even know where that Gemma came from. Who knows? Could be anyone really. But it's hit and miss for me. And me as a person, unfortunately, I am not the best at names. So, I will remember the energy of you and the essence of you. And this is something that is my area in terms of when I am doing a mediumship read, when I'm reading for you psychically, I can literally feel your soul. I can feel who you are as a person. I can feel who these passed over people, are as a person, like whether or not they were bubbly, whether or not you are currently suffering from anxiety. I feel, your nerves. I can feel who you are to the core. And this is sort of my area, but I can tell you literally your innermost childhood wounding, but then I'll forget your name. I'll remember you next time. I'm like, oh yeah, there's that person with that, particular vibe, but what was your name? I can't remember. And it's something that I need to work on, right? So it makes sense for me that as an intuitive, I don't always get names. The person who I have worked with, who I remember, who was the best at getting names, guess what she did for a living? And her names were so accurate, so on point. So she actually was a receptionist, and all day long, hello, Frank, I've got Marsha on the phone for you on line 2 if you would like to chat. Hello, yep, okay, thank you so much for calling, Sally. I'll get you Brian. Brian, I've got Sally on the phone. And pass over. So she literally was dealing with names, had to take conscious notice of names all day, because she got to a point where she's like, I just didn't even need to write them down. I was memorizing these names and I could pass them across and over. So for her, when she did her mediumship, I was like, how did you get that name? How did you get that so precisely? And it just made so much sense for what it is that she did. So it the reason why I'm telling you this is based on who you are as a person, that can help with your abilities, and this can help you. So say you want to get better at names in your psychic work, in your mediumship work, something that's going to help you is in everyday life, start taking conscious notice of names. So you as a person, you can change up whatever it is that you want. You want to get better at names, you get better at names as in life. So you might need to start getting into the habit of, hello, I'm June, what's your name? And then actually remembering that name. And then before you know it, you're actually going to start picking that up in your intuitive work, and you'll naturally be able to do that as well. So I have found that your psychic work or your intuitive abilities, once you learn how to hone in on them, they are based on who you are as a person, what it is that you like, what it is that you are naturally drawn to doing, what it is that you came here to do. So for example, the death doula, and also based on your conscious bias or personal belief system. So your own personal belief system, what it is that you've been through in your life is also going to affect your psychic or mediumship work. And this is something that I've actually been talking a lot about in Psychic School Elite at the moment, which there is going to be a self-study version that will be available soon. And if you're depending on you're listening to this, we could be recruiting the new live version, which I'm going to do in not till 2026. But anyway, beyond that point is inside Psychic School Elite, we've been talking about how the more you heal as an intuitive, as a person, the better intuitive you will be. So what I mean by that is, say in your lifetime, so part of your human conditioning is you didn't have a great relationship with your mother. You might have had quite a toxic relationship with your mother. She might not have been there for you. You might have a lot of abandonment issues. The mother wound could be something that comes up for you. So you as a medium, when you are bringing through someone else's mother, you actually might have issues. It might be a bit tricky for you. It might be hard for you to connect on that wavelength. But, you go to bring through someone's dad. Your dad in your life was freaking amazing. He was always there for you. and he was very, very present. So that's who you gel with. So in your mediumship work, it makes sense, and I see this in so many different clients, is that you actually struggle bringing through mothers, but you will bring through dads so clearly, so strongly. Even in your psychic work, if you're tapping into somebody else's dad who's living, bring it through amazingly. Because you as a person have those, conscious issues, those blocks that are in your system there that actually do affect you as an intuitive as well. And this also then affects you in life because you might be a bit wary of people's mums. So I have had people that have literally gone, okay, I can't be like this in my mediumship work. I want to be the best medium that I possibly can be. And if I can't connect with people's mothers, which is a lot of people on the other side, this is going to be an issue for my work. So they've actually gone to some type of healing, whether it be root cause therapy, NLP, to reframe their belief system around what it is that a mother is, not based on who their mother was to them, but just understanding that that is just their own experience and what it is that they've been through and their own trauma. And that's not actually necessarily what everybody else's mother is about. So they've reframed their belief system. And before you know it, the way that they are reading, they are connecting with mums just as strongly as they are connecting with dads and bringing through the best details, creating the most healing readings for other people because they worked on what it is that they had issues with. So that's just one example of the more you heal who you are as a person, the better intuitive you will be. And also, generally speaking, it tends to then have a ricochet effect in your entire life. So I know for me, once I started to realize the correlation between shadow work and intuitive abilities, that when I started working on things that I had problems with, like, so for example, my own self-trust, my own self-confidence, and my ability to connect with spirit, once I realized we all have the ability to connect with spirit and they are there and they want to help us. Really, the only reason why the connection would differ is because of me and my own, a lot of the time, nervous system going into fight, flight, or freeze because I'm so damn nervous to read for you and I feel like I have so much pressure to bring through information that I would shut down. So a lot of the time for me, it was my own nervous system. So once I realized how to regulate my nervous system and once I realized like I need to start working on my own self-confidence and self-trust, then everything changed. My readings got so much better. They got so much clearer. My connection with spirit was like almost instant. And this also then, this confidence or this trust within myself also started to manifest in my business. It started to manifest and then like overflow like into my family life, into my relationships. And it really just, as much as doing shadow work or working on these things is not fun in the moment, the effects or the after effects of it or the aftershocks, whatever you want to call it, in the rest of your life is going to pay off. So that's also intertwined. So there was in Psychic School Elite the other night, we had like one of our live coaching sessions and one of the ladies was saying how she always connects with dads, like alive, living brothers, masculine energy she brings through really easily. And she came to the realization is that she actually was very more comfortable connecting with males than with females. And she struggled to bring through or connect with female energy. So that made sense to her. And then somebody else was saying, well, I always bring through stuff that is not so nice about other people's partners. And the reason why that was happening for her, she came to the realization is because she had been through not so nice experiences in the past with her partners. So she hadn't had great trusting relationships. And that was coming through in her personal belief system when she was reading for other people. So in saying that, I guess what it is that I wanted to say is find your own unique way and don't, if you're not like anybody else in the way that it is that you bring things through. So a lot of people are like, hey, but I don't think I ever want to do like predictive reads. You know how like people have this preconceived idea that a psychic just gives you, they're a fortune teller or they tell you future stuff. I have so many people go, that is not me. I do not want to do predictive reads. I want to do reads where like that promote healing, that help them get back in touch with their own intuition. if that's not what it is that you feel that you were drawn to doing, as an intuitive, it's not just like a psychic does this, modern day psychic. It's like there is so much gray area. We are all innately unique. So your abilities are going to be innately unique. And what it is that you have to offer the world should be innately unique. Innately unique. I'm like mixing all my words up now. So don't feel like, hey, I can't do what she's doing, so that means I'm not a real psychic. My goal in life is like to reframe what a psychic actually is, and to reframe the misconceptions around this word. Psychic is whatever the hell you want it to be, or an intuitive is whatever the hell you want it to be. You get to create it, you get to make it, and it's going to be different because we're all here to do different things as well. So just an example of something that I was doing: if someone says something to you and it doesn't feel right through your own, and you're running it through your own belief system, and you're running it through your own gut, and it doesn't feel right for you, don't listen to it. So for example, during my reads, when things are happening, I have a tendency to explain what's going on and how the information is coming through. And I've worked with mentors before that have said, like, they've listened to recordings, because your mentor will do that. They'll watch you do readings and they'll give you feedback. And she's like the most amazing mentor, like wonderful. But she would often say to me, you don't need to explain what's happening. You don't need to tell them, like, this is how the info is coming through right now. And because myself, as I said before, a natural teacher, it just comes out because I'm explaining, or like not meaning to, but sort of teaching them as to how abilities work. Because if you don't understand, you're not from this space, if you've never had a reading before, people literally think there is a passed over person like standing next to you and you can see them clear as day and they're just chatting to you like we chat. I'm talking to you right now. And if you're not from this space, I'll explain to you, for most intuitives, that's not how it is. It's actually, it is for some people. I wish it was that easy for me. I mean, it is easy once you learn how to do it, but it's like the sounds or the words that I get are in my own voice, in my own head. So I'm trying to decipher, what's me, what's them. I see a flash of an image for like a second, and if I don't verbalize it, it's gone and I've lost it. I am working off knowings, I'm working off feelings, emotions, and I'm trying to pull all these things together. And sometimes my spirit team is very metaphorically speaking. They don't say things in like normal English, and I have to say to them, like, how round it on in, speak in blatant terms. So you're making this easy on me. So we're literally like playing charades with spirit, trying to bring through all this information and interpret it in a way that makes sense to you. And I like to explain this to my clients at times if I can feel they're not understanding what's going on, so that they realize, okay, that's why that came through in that way and not in this way. And that's why it wasn't quite so precise as to how it would be that they would say it on earth. But the message is there, the right message is there behind what that passed over person said, but you've worded it slightly different because you're running it also through my own filter. So it's also got my spin on it. It's also got my flavor on it, because I'm not doing trance channeling at this point, which is a whole nother subject. I am still working as an intuitive, as me, but trying to relay the information that spirit has got for you. And she said, you shouldn't do that. And for me, in my gut, I thought about it afterwards, and I've thought about it many times. And like, obviously I'm not going to say anything to this person that I did work with, so I'm not working with her right now. In case you're all out there trying to figure out who it is. I thought about it afterwards, and I thought, hang on a minute, for me, my best soulmate clients, the people that I've created the most profound connections with, are actually from the readings that I did explain things, and they actually gave me feedback afterwards. Oh my goodness, it's opened my eyes so much to understand how it is that you work, and to understand how it is that you do what you do, and made me believe that maybe I could do this. It doesn't mean like they want to do it for a living, but they could be more intuitive and bring intuition into their own life, because no one's life is worse off for bringing intuition into it. I'll tell you that right now. I have never had one single client regret bringing intuition or bringing back their own and understanding their own internal navigation system. If anything, it just enhances your life that so much more. So I was thinking, for me, this is why they're drawn to me and they are probably my soulmate clients, is because of how it is that I work. So if someone says something to you and it doesn't feel correct to you and you're told that's not the correct way, but you think maybe you're telling me it's not your correct way, but this feels right for me, just do what feels right for you, because there'll be a reason behind it. Obviously, if we're ethically speaking, I don't mean like, it feels right for you to psychically attack other people, so you go and do that. I'm more around, running things that are ethically okay to run through your own filter. So I just say the moral of the story is do it anyway and do what feels right for you. Don't compare yourself to others, because that just shuts down your own natural abilities and what it is that you have, your natural strengths that are, that are already there. And it just makes it so much more. Sometimes you realize the things that you are actually good at when you also bring out your intuitive ability. So say an example is I love working with parents because I've got kids, right? So when I read for people, and this would be something that's running through me as my own filter, because I am a mother, I tap into other people's children so easily, and I can feel the kid's energy just as powerful or as strongly as the mother or the father, sometimes more so. Because my thing is children, because I've got children, so I relate to that. So it makes sense that for me as a reader, this is something that I naturally gravitate towards and something that I naturally can bring through easily. Whereas I've had clients that don't have kids, they're more of like a dog mama. And when they tap into other people's animals, they'll bring through those animals because they love the animals and they're a dog mummy and they can feel the energy of the dogs. But once the person's like, I've got children, they struggle a little bit more, with that. Not saying they can't do it and not saying that that's everybody, but that's just an example of how it might work. So that's pretty much all I wanted to share with you today. I hope that this helps you to open yourself up more in the way it is that you work, and that you will stop comparing yourself to others so much so, because you will have your own unique set of intuitive abilities. Because this is just comparing yourself to others is only shutting down what you naturally already have there and what is meant for you. And remember that the things that do come naturally to you often are so closely intertwined with your, purpose and what it is that you came here to do anyway. So yeah, that's it. That's it from me today. I hope you've loved this little riff off or I guess download that had been coming through that I really wanted to chat about. I hope it's been helpful. And if you would be so kind, if you love this episode, I would love it if you would be able to share it. Energy exchange, I'll share you my expertise. You share me your expertise by sharing this episode around. Like, follow it, whatever it is that they say in regards to podcast episodes. And I'm at Ms. June Mac if you would like to find me anywhere on social media. Ask me any questions you like. My inbox is open and I will chat to you soon. Thanks, guys.
Little Psychics, I wanted to thank you for tuning into the Little Psychic podcast with June Mac. I am so grateful to have had you here. You can find me over at junemac.com or on all social media at Ms. June Mac. You can also keep up with me at thelittlepsychicschool.com and on IG at The Little Psychic School. If you enjoyed today's episode, it would mean so much if you could please subscribe, rate, review, and share. It's been an absolute privilege to be in your ears.